Hello, this is Fred Roberts with the International Log Builders Association, and we're doing another one of our series. And today we have a guy from Ontario. He spent a little time over in BC or British Columbia, and he's an interesting guy. I've just known him for just a short time, but he's a pretty interesting person. I think you're going to enjoy what he has to say. Paul Kealey, introduce yourself, please, sir.
Uh, I am the CEO of Kealey Tackaberry Log Homes. So we basically have two brands in our company, Kealey Tackaberry, our log home division, and then EcoBuilt. We might actually be listed on the ILBA as EcoBuilt, which is our passive house division. But we've been building log homes for a long time, just over 15 years. We do all types of homes, handcrafted log homes. I'm standing here on a site today. You can see a handcrafted full scribe bunkie in the background. And I turned around and we have a post and beam home on this site. So both handcrafted projects here. We also do a milled home using the standing deadwood out of British Columbia. Timber homes as well. We do a lot of timber frame, a lot of backyard structures to get us into the urban environments. We're located just outside of Ottawa, Ontario. So the predominant species that we use for building is eastern white pine.
Okay.
Eastern white pine is all around us. So for example, here's a tall sucker right in back of me.
There you go. There you go. So
this
your supplies
property-
are on site.
on site pretty well, you know, like the white pine is it's a funny tree. Every one of them's got its own character in a way, like the homes that they go into, but a lot different than a lot of the members would experience in British Columbia. I spent a few years in BC in my younger days working for various companies and getting into the business. And my recollection was, you know, we were using a number of different species: lodgepole pine, Engelmann spruce, Douglas fir, red cedar, and all of the logs seem to have a very user-friendly log. Seem to average about a 1-inch taper over 10 feet of length, and they produced fairly even scribes. Where building with the white pine is a lot more tricky. We can usually only harvest about 35% of the trees in any one given area because they're simply only straight over a certain length. So we end up having to be a little bit more selection with the logging of the trees, and you know, but it also provides at the same time a lot of more opportunity for character in the home. But there's a lot of demand for log homes where we are. They've been instilled into the local area ever since the pioneers came over to Canada in the early to mid 1800s.
You mentioned a while ago the Bunkie, and for those of us, like I'm further south than you are, a few miles. I'm down in Texas, and I've never heard the word Bunkie. And so explain to me what you're talking about and the process behind building the Bunkie and why y'all do that, or why you recommend that.
Absolutely. So a Bunkie is what I just named here. Just Bunkie seems like the natural word to me, but it depends on the municipalities that we're in. They all have a different name for it. Essentially, it's a small home. Call it a tiny home. In Ontario, which is really cool, just for the past 3 years, and this is a rule that stems from the Affordable Communities and Housing Act that the government of Ontario passed about 5 years ago. And it essentially allows a secondary dwelling to be built on any property in the whole province of Ontario, which is huge. Obviously, there's a lot less people in Ontario or in any city in Canada than the United States. New York City probably has more people than all of Ontario, but it's a significant part of Canada. And secondary dwelling is the technical term for a bunkie. It allows secondary home on any property. The bunkie is just limited in size. It
I
can be
got you.
maximum 40% the
Okay.
size of the main house on the property.
Now,
So this is an example of this bunkie. So the main home on this property is a 1,500 square foot post and beam. And
right,
the bunkie here it's approximately 600 square feet, which is 40% of the size of the main home. So this is essentially the largest we could build this bunkie. So we did it. We took advantage of it. It's a lot more cost effective to do two projects at the same time instead of individual times. So we just took advantage of it.
now is that a metal roof you've got on there? Is that what that is?
This is a metal roof. Yes, exactly.
Okay. Okay. Are you seeing any what is it called where you get your energy from the sun? Solar. Are you seeing any solar being built or put up in your area?
We do lots of solar. We bring in solar on any property that is oriented properly and allows for easy access to sun, call it.
Right.
We do have a net metering program available throughout Ontario, which allows you to net zero your house with solar panels.
Okay.
So it's a very inexpensive way to offset your utility bill.
Right.
So we all know building with large logs, very energy efficient home, easy to heat, easy to cool, very passive in a sense, and just having the ability to put solar panels on your roof that produce so net zero. I'm going to assume everyone knows what net zero is. It's kind of common terminology is, but to explain it to someone who doesn't know, is essentially a home that can produce the equivalent amount of energy as it consumes is a net zero home. And with the net metering program, which exists in a number of provinces, not everyone, a number of states as well, I think have similar net metering programs, or it might be limited to certain areas. But just having the ability to offset your entire utility bill with solar panels makes a lot of sense. So a lot of people now are as part of the transitioning to a more sustainable green economy, which it attracts us to it at its heart, is a lot of people are choosing to entirely electrically operate the home and not bring in propane, which was predominant for any heating system around here in our neck of the woods to be almost a no-brainer, a given. You heat your home with propane. It's that simple. But propane is becoming scarce, and it's becoming more expensive. It's having the ability to offset your utility with electricity by using a heat pump is what we're doing on a lot of projects, and net zeroing them with solar panels.
Great. I know it. I'm seeing more and more solar down here. Of course, we have a lot of sunlight down here, but it's got to just be ambient sunlight. It doesn't have to be a bright sun out there. But we don't ever have any snow around here. That stuff, we pay a lot of money to come see that stuff you're standing in. But other than that, now there's you and your partner, and your partner's name is Tackaberry.
Adam Tackaberry, that's correct.
Okay. And I noticed that yours said that you had a Bachelor of Science, but I didn't know what it was in. I was looking at your information.
A Bachelor of Science in Physical Education. So
I
went to yeah, Adam and I are both university grads.
Right,
I went to school, and essentially went into the teachers program. So
right,
teachers education was part of the degree that I received, and I've always liked kids, and thought that teaching would be a good career move. I spent a few years in the high schools working, and had great fun there. Coaching was probably my most favorite part of being in the school. But I've always been the type to want to get stuff done, and I just didn't really feel that teachers would probably frown at me saying this, but I just didn't really feel like there was a lot of opportunity in the school system to maximize the purpose of my life individually. So
right,
I
right,
left, basically moved out to British Columbia to learn how to build a log home. Thought that I would simply be moving out there to learn how to build a home, come back, build a family home, and get back into teaching. But just falling in love with construction, and working with the logs, and we're working with the logs, and it gives you a lot of opportunity to do good in a house.
right,
And when it comes down to it, even though we do lots of log homes and we love doing them, we are not a log home company by by passion. Our passion is more of the sustainability side of things.
right,
So just with the log home, um, the amount of carbon that it sequesters in the log, and the fact that the logs are living and breathing just like us, and they live and they die, and and we try to only use sustainably harvested timber. So
right,
in the handcrafted log building style, everyone knows in the business that it's best you achieve the greatest final product using green material as opposed to dry material. The logs that we do harvest are living trees. They are green, but we only harvest the white pine here when it's at its near life expectancy.
right,
So
right,
350 years, we take them down. The loggers that we use sustainably, private loggers is all we use locally. They've been sustainably harvesting timber um, ever since they were ever since the pioneers for their family name came
right,
over in the mid 1800s.
right,
And I talk about them lots because when it comes down to it, they are your typical backcountry, out of the woods, hunter fishermen group of people. But they know that they intrinsically know that sustainably harvesting their woodlots, they'll never have to replant.
right,
And
right,
so nothing, no harvesting done at a large scale. It's simply go into each woodlot every year, and thin out the trees to
sure,
apply to make room for new growth.
sure. Let me ask you this, Paul, where all do y'all build?
Well, we build mostly in our local area with respect to the log home, but we do send um, homes. We usually have one or two a year that go outside of our general area. We've supplied homes in the past to the Muskoka area, which is the cottage country north
Right,
of Toronto.
okay,
We have a house coming up for next year going down to Ohio.
oh,
So
really?
we got some American sites in us.
Well,
And
hopefully you'll get a lot more after they see what you do good work.
well, thank you very much.
How can they get hold of you, Paul?
They can
Or,
get a hold of us through our website, mostly ktloghomes.com. So K for Kealey, T for Tackaberry, www.ktloghomes.com. The International Log Builders Association, of course, which I think is great because it brings all the builders, all the products together on one website. So anyone
right,
interested in a home can go there. But the the best way is through our website.
Let me ask you
And
this. If they wanted to call you direct and talk to you, what's that number? Do you have a Canadian number you can give us?
yes, it's 613-227-4663.
One more time.
613-227-4663.
Okay, okay. I'm sure some people are going to want to call you, and then probably some people are going to email you, but I wish we had more time, because I think you've got a lot of information that you could share with us. But I'm sitting here looking at your Bunkie. Let me get that straight, Bunkie. And
Bunkie.
we call that a mother-in-law cottage down here in Texas. And you build yours right there looked like it was about 100 yards away from the house. We take the mother-in-law's cottage and move it about 1.5 miles down the road. We put a fence around it, and that's how we build ours. But anyway, I guess we're going to sign off. Thank you very much. You've been very informative, and like I said, I'm looking at the product you have there, and your theory about why you're building log homes and why you're doing it. I think you're doing it for all the right reasons, and I really appreciate it. And I know that International Log Builders Association appreciates it. And you can find Kealey and Tackaberry at the site at go to I think it's logassociation.org, and just look them up and find them there. And I encourage people to do that, because this guy and his company are the real deal, and they can really help you out. So Paul, I'm gonna let you go. I'd like to visit with you sometime. If I ever get up to Ontario, I'll come by and see, and maybe I'll stay in the Bunkie or whatever, as long as your mother-in-law's not there. And
the doors will be open for you.
Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thanks for the opportunity, and have a nice day.
Okay.